Welcome to Heartbreak Chronicles.
Everyone says I'm just a stay-at-home husband who married a top sales champion way above my league. At her celebration banquet, in front of all our relatives, she raised her glass and laughed loudly. Marcus's greatest achievement in life is folding my clothes neatly. The whole room erupted in laughter. She continued, honestly, everyone, he married me for my family's money. My father treated him so well when he was alive. So now having him serve me at home is the least he can do to repay my dad. The laughter grew even louder. I laughed too, because they didn't know that the family company she spoke of, I held 56% absolute controlling stake in. Because they didn't know that I was the sole heir designated by her late father. Because they didn't know that these 3 years of playing the worthless husband were all an act. And this banquet was the beginning of me taking everything back. Marcus, what are you laughing at? Serena suddenly stared at me. Did I say something wrong? No. I raised the orange juice in my hand. Yes, orange juice. Because she said I would embarrass her if I drank alcohol. Everything you said is correct. Good. She turned around satisfied, continuing to bask in everyone's flattery. In the Wilton Grand Hotel ballroom, beneath crystal chandeliers, she was enjoying the highlight of her life. She had just signed the largest deal in company history, $800 million 3-year term. Quarterly sales champion. Everyone revolved around her. I sat in the corner, quietly eating my cold steak. Marcus, my uncle came over, reeking of alcohol. You're so fortunate, marrying such a capable wife. You can just enjoy your comfortable life at home. Exactly, my cousin chimed in. These days, having a wife who makes money is wonderful. You handle being pretty as a flower. She handles making money to support the family. Marcus doesn't even qualify as pretty as a flower, does he? Another relative laughed. At best, he's a good house husband. Another round of laughter. I continued smiling, counting down in my mind. 3 years and 8 months. I had endured for 3 years and 8 months. Tonight it ends. After the banquet dispersed, Serena was quite drunk. In the car with the driver, she leaned against my shoulder, mumbling incoherently, Marcus, so happy today. This deal, 5 million bonus. Congratulations, I said. When I get it, I'll give you 100,000. Buy something. She closed her eyes, following me. Better than struggling on your own. You're incompetent. I understand. I responded. You must remember. The life you have now, I gave it to you. I remember. At home, I helped her into the bedroom, took off her shoes, changed her clothes, tucked her in, then walked out of the bedroom and closed the door. Standing before the living room's floor-to-ceiling windows, the city lights sparkled brilliantly. I took out my phone and sent Uncle Lawrence a message. Initiate the plan. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, your office. A few seconds later, the reply vibrated. Been waiting 3 years for this day. I deleted the chat history. That night, I slept in the guest room, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. 3 years ago, Serena first yelled at me, Marcus, can you please stop being so fucking useless? That day, I had just shrunk her newly bought dress in the wash. I apologized. She slammed the door and left. Uncle Lawrence called. Should we end this early? No, I said. The old master said to give her a chance. Does she deserve it? I'm watching. 2 years ago, she started frequently not coming home. The reasons were entertaining clients, working overtime, business trips. Once I found a hotel key card in her coat pocket. Uncle Lawrence said, Isn't this enough? Still not enough. Not yet, I said. I need her to show her true face in her career too. Only then can I completely deny her. Do you hate her that much? It's not hatred, I said. It's responsibility. The old master's deathbed entrustment. I must do it properly. A year ago, she was promoted to sales director. She began to have real power and began to show her true colors. Inflating travel expenses, taking kickbacks, fake contracts, transferring assets. Uncle Lawrence collected evidence bit by bit. Every document, every transaction record, every recording, all stored in my safe. I was waiting for the right moment, a moment to make her fall from the highest peak. And tonight's humiliation was that signal. When someone no longer leaves you any dignity, you no longer need to give them any face. The next morning at 7 o'clock, I put on the suit that had been gathering dust for 3 years. Dark gray, Italian tailored, this was a birthday gift from the old master back then. The man in the mirror was both strange and familiar. "Why are you wearing a suit?" Serena woke up, still hungover, eyes bleary. "What serious business could you possibly have?" "Going to work." I tied my tie. She froze for a second, then burst out laughing. "Work? Marcus, wake up. You've stayed home for 3 years. What company would want you?" "I'm not looking for a job." I turned to look at her. "I'm going to work at my company." "Your company?" She laughed even harder. "Are you crazy? You think this is playing house?" I didn't answer, grabbed the car keys and went out. Behind me came her shouting, "Marcus, if you dare go out and embarrass yourself, don't come back." I closed the door. In the elevator, my phone vibrated. Uncle Lawrence's message. "I'm waiting for you at the office. Also, Deloitte's audit team is ready." I replied, "Good. Home to group building, underground parking." I parked in the VIP spot on B1, the founder's exclusive parking space, which had been empty for 3 years. The security guard walked over, about to say something. He saw the license plate and froze. It was the old master's plate number. After he passed away, it was transferred to me. But no one knew that. I entered the elevator and pressed the button for the 20th floor. In Uncle Lawrence's office, he had already brewed tea. 3 years. He looked at me. "This suit still fits you perfectly. Thank you for your hard work." I sat down. "As it should be." He pushed over a document bag. "This contains all the evidence from these 3 years. As you requested, all legally obtained evidence, reviewed by lawyers, can be used directly for criminal prosecution." I opened the document bag. First page. Detailed inflated travel expense records, totaling $820,000 over 3 years. Second page. Records of kickbacks received from suppliers involving $3.27 million. Third page. Dual contracts for the $800 million Wilton deal. On the surface, a normal sales agreement. Secretly, she promised them usage rights to the company's core technology patents. The board was completely unaware. Fourth page. Transferring company profits through affiliated companies under her name, involving $15.8 million. Fifth page. Chat records and recordings of directing subordinates to spread false information to slander competitors. Sixth page. Evidence chain of her leaking company trade secrets to competitors in exchange for personal benefits. I finished reading the last page and closed the file. "This is enough," I said. "There's more." Uncle Lawrence pulled out another document. "These are her personal account statements. Guess what I found?" "What?" "She registered a shell company in the Cayman Islands, preparing to transfer all the embezzled money." Uncle Lawrence said, "She's already preparing her escape route." I was silent for a few seconds. "She's your wife," Uncle Lawrence suddenly said. "Are you really going to go this far?" "She is my wife," I said. "But I am the old master's heir. This isn't personal vendetta. This is responsibility." "So what's next?" "Proceed according to plan," I said. "Deloitte's audit team will enter the company under the guise of annual auditing. Complete report within 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I want you to contact lawyer Sue and prepare all legal documents. Also," I looked at Uncle Lawrence, "isn't Serena planning to remove Beatrice at the shareholders' meeting on the 15th of next month and make herself chairman?" "Yes." "Then let her propose it," I said. "I'll appear at the shareholders' meeting." Uncle Lawrence's eyes widened. "You're going to, at her most triumphant moment?" "Yes." I interrupted him. "In front of all the shareholders, expose all her crimes. Then, as the controlling shareholder, personally pull her down. Isn't that too cruel?" I looked at him. "Uncle Lawrence, at last night's banquet, she said in front of everyone that my greatest achievement in life is folding clothes, that I married her for money. Do you think that was cruel? Uncle Lawrence fell silent. I gave her a chance. I stood up. 3 whole years. She chose this path herself. Leaving Uncle Lawrence's office, I didn't go home. I went to a law firm in the city. Lawyer Sue, a shrewd woman in her 40s, a top-tier commercial litigation attorney in the industry. Mr. Marcus, I've heard so much about you. She shook hands with a firm grip. Mr. Chun sent me all the materials. In my professional judgment, Ms. Serena is suspected of embezzlement, commercial bribery, and infringement of trade secrets. If all charges hold, the cumulative sentence could be over 12 years. 12 years, I repeated. Yes. Moreover, Lawyer Sue said, according to Article 271 of the criminal law, embezzlement of huge amounts is punishable by more than 5 years imprisonment. She embezzled $15.8 million, far exceeding the huge amount threshold, plus leaking trade secrets. This isn't simple corruption, it's commercial crime. I nodded. But I must remind you, Lawyer Sue said, once legal proceedings begin, this matter will be exposed. The media will report it frantically. A sales champion falling from heaven to hell, that's top-tier news. Are you mentally prepared? I couldn't be happier for the whole world to know, I said. Let everyone see what kind of person that glamorous sales champion really is. Lawyer Sue smiled with satisfaction. Then I'm relieved. I'll prepare all the materials. On the day of the shareholders' meeting, I guarantee she'll have nothing to say. Back home, it was already afternoon. Serena wasn't there. I opened her laptop, entered the password, her birthday, unlocked easily. I browsed through her emails, chat records, files, found more interesting things. Private correspondence between her and the Wilton Company executive. It clearly stated, as long as you transfer $3 million to my personal account, I can privately sign the authorization for core patent usage. Her WeChat chat with the supplier, kickback at 15%, transfer directly to my husband's account. He's useless anyway, won't notice. Her phone recording with a competitor company executive. I can give you Home2's Q4 sales data. In exchange, you double my commission in the next bid. Every single one was solid evidence. I copied all files to an encrypted USB drive. In the evening, Serena came back, bringing several colleagues. Marcus, cook dinner, she said without even looking at me. For 6 people. Okay. I went to the kitchen. From the living room came her voice. Let me tell you, my husband is just a house cook. Can't do anything else, but cooking is acceptable. Director Serena is so fortunate, a female colleague said. Having someone cook for you. Fortunate? Hardly, Serena said. Having a useless husband. Looking at him every day is annoying. If divorce weren't so troublesome, I'd have dumped him long ago. Laughter. I was in the kitchen, slowly cutting vegetables. Very good. As for divorce, I already had Lawyer Sue prepare the petition. You want to dump me? Sorry, I'm dumping you. And you'll leave with nothing. Dinner was ready, I brought it out. Wow, Marcus's cooking isn't bad, a male colleague said. It's all right. Serena picked at the food. This is about all he's useful for. I stood aside. Anything else you need? No, you can get lost now. Serena waved her hand. Stop being an eyesore here. I turned and went back to the bedroom. Closed the door, leaned against it, closed my eyes. Deep breath. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks and it's over. In the following days, Deloitte's audit team entered Home2. On the 3rd day, Serena called me. Marcus, something's happened at the company. What happened? I pretended not to know. An audit team came in, saying it was requested by a major shareholder. Her voice was very nervous. I can't find out who it is. So what do we do? What can we do? Cooperate with them, she said. My accounts are clean anyway, nothing to fear. I hung up and smiled. Clean? A week later, the CFO came to Serena with the preliminary audit report. Director Serena, there are some issues that need your explanation. Serena took the report, her face growing increasingly pale. Where did these numbers come from? The audit team pulled them from the system, the CFO said. Director Serena, These accounts have some problems. What problems? Serena slammed the table. My accounts are all compliant. But the CFO pointed to a line of numbers. This $3 million consulting fee, the recipient is a consulting company under your name. Serena froze. And these travel reimbursements, the CFO turned the page. Some hotel consumption records don't match your business trip itinerary. What are you implying? Serena stood up. Are you questioning me? Director Serena, I'm just reminding you, the CFO said. The audit team found these issues. There may be deeper investigations next. You'd better prepare explanations in advance. Serena sat back in her chair, her face ashen. That night she drank a lot. Marcus, she said drunkenly, tell me, if something happened to me one day, what would you do? I poured her water. It won't happen, you're so capable. What's the use of being capable? She said. Someone wants to get me. I don't know who, but I will find out. I'll make them pay. You will find out, I said. Yes, I definitely will. She closed her eyes. When I do, I'll make them wish they were dead. I looked at her drunken state and said nothing. You've already found out. He's right in front of you. You just don't know it. Another week passed, and Deloitte's complete audit report came out. The report was 200 pages long, detailing all of Serena's violations. Uncle Lawrence delivered the report to me. More detailed than what we investigated ourselves. Deloitte truly lives up to its reputation. I opened the report. In addition to what we already knew, new problems were discovered. She abused her position to make the company purchase products from her best friend's company at 30% above market price. She directed subordinates to forge customer satisfaction surveys to obtain higher performance bonuses. She leaked competitors' bids during the tender process, allowing her chosen suppliers to win with low bids, then collected kickbacks. Each item had a detailed chain of evidence. Enough! I closed the report. More than enough. The shareholders' meeting is set for next Friday, Uncle Lawrence said. Serena has officially submitted the proposal to remove Beatrice. What's her current state? Calm on the surface, but actually quite panicked, Uncle Lawrence said. She's been trying to find out who's behind this for days. She's investigated all competitors but still can't figure it out. Because she never imagined, I said, that the mastermind would be the husband she looks down on. Uncle Lawrence smiled. People's biggest blind spot is someone they think they understand. Right? I said. And this blind spot will cost her everything. The day before the shareholders' meeting, Serena came home triumphantly. Marcus, tomorrow I'm becoming chairman, she said, changing clothes. Do you know what that means? What? It means I'm the true master of this household. She turned to look at me. You better be respectful to me from now on. Otherwise, I can make you leave with nothing anytime. I hung up the suit she'd wear tomorrow. Yes, Chairwoman Serena. That's more like it. She smiled with satisfaction. Once I become chairman, the first thing I'll do is reorganize the company. Those people who audited me will all be fired. Those people were arranged by the major shareholder, I reminded her. Major shareholder? She sneered. Who is this major shareholder? Just some old guys banding together to intimidate me. Once I become chairman with real power, let's see who dares to touch me. I said nothing. By the way, she suddenly remembered something. Do you want to come to the shareholders' meeting tomorrow? Me? Yes, she said. As my husband, you should be there to witness my glorious moment. Also let those people see that Serena's husband isn't useless. At least he folds clothes very neatly. She laughed at her own joke. I laughed too. Okay, I'll go. Then it's settled. She waved her hand. You can go now. I need to prepare tomorrow's speech. I left the bedroom, stood on the balcony, lit a cigarette. First time smoking in 3 years. Through the smoke, I remembered what the old master said before he died. Marcus, human nature doesn't shed tears until seeing the coffin. You must make her lose completely, lose without argument. Then she'll understand where she went wrong. Old master, I did it. Tomorrow she will lose completely. The day of the shareholders' meeting, the sunshine was beautiful. I arrived at the company earlier than Serena. At the conference room entrance, Uncle Lawrence and Lawyer Sue were already waiting for me. "Everything is ready," Lawyer Sue said. "All documents are here, including share certificates, notarized will, audit report, evidence materials, and criminal report materials." She handed me a briefcase, very heavy. Inside was 3 years of Serena's crimes, and also the end of her life. "Nervous?" Uncle Lawrence asked. "Not nervous," I said. "I've been waiting for this day for 3 years." At 9 o'clock, shareholders and board members arrived one after another. At 9:30, Serena arrived. She wore a deep red suit, exquisite makeup, looking radiant. Seeing me waiting outside, she paused. "You came. You told me to," I said. "Then come in," she said. "What does it look like standing outside?" I followed her into the conference room. The conference room was large, with people seated on both sides of the long table. All company directors, major shareholders, and executives were present. The atmosphere was heavy. Beatrice, Serena's mother, the current chairman, sat in the main seat. Seeing her daughter enter, she forced a smile. "It's time, let's begin." Beatrice tapped the table. "Today's shareholders' meeting, the main topic is changes to the board. Serena has proposed removing me from the chairman position and nominating herself as the new chairman." She paused. "Does anyone want to explain the situation?" Serena stood up. "Everyone," she looked around the room. "I know you might think I'm too young, but I've proven myself with performance. This past quarter, I signed the largest deal in company history, $800 million. I doubled the company's sales. I have the capability and qualifications to lead Hongtu to a more brilliant future." Applause rang out. She continued, "My mother has served as chairman these years, but the company's development has been slow, missing many opportunities. It's time to inject fresh blood. I implore all shareholders to support my proposal." Having finished, she sat down. Beatrice's face looked somewhat displeased, but she said nothing. "Since the proposer has explained the situation," she said, "we'll proceed to the voting process." "Wait." I stood up. Everyone looked at me. Serena frowned. "Marcus, what are you doing?" "According to company bylaws," I said, "before the board votes, if a shareholder holding more than 10% raises an objection, their opinion must be heard first." "You're not even a shareholder," Serena said impatiently. "Sit down." "I am," I said. The room fell silent. "What?" Serena froze. At this moment, Lawyer Sue stood up, walked to the conference table, and placed a document on it. "Everyone," she said, "I am Genevieve, Mr. Marcus's legal representative. I now represent the absolute controlling shareholder of Hongtu Group, formally objecting to this board change proposal." "Absolute controlling shareholder?" Beatrice stood up. "Who?" Lawyer Sue looked at me. I stood up from my seat and walked to the conference table. I took out the first document from the briefcase. "This is share certificate issued by the Cayman Islands Trust Company." I placed the document on the table. 8 years ago, before Mr. Harrison passed away, he gifted all 56% of his Hongtu Group shares to me. The room erupted in chaos. "Impossible!" Serena rushed over and grabbed the document. "This is impossible. My father would never do this. There's also this." Uncle Lawrence produced another document. "This is Mr. Harrison's original will and notarization." Beatrice tremblingly took the document. She read a few lines, her face went deathly pale, her whole body swaying. Uncle Lawrence supported her. "Chairwoman, are you all right? Harrison, he..." Beatrice's voice shook. "He really gave the shares to Marcus? Why? Why not to Serena?" "Because he was worried," I said. "Worried about entrusting the company to someone eager for success and unscrupulous." "You're lying." Serena slammed the table. "Where am I unscrupulous? I relied on my own ability to sign an $800 million deal." "Your ability?" I laughed coldly. "You did sign an $800 million deal. But do you know how you signed it?" I gestured to Uncle Lawrence. He turned on the projector. A contract appeared on the screen. "This is the supplementary agreement you signed with Wilton Company," I said. "Beyond the formal contract, you privately promised them usage rights to the company's core technology patents." The screen switched to show email screenshots. "This is your private correspondence with Wilton's executive." I read it aloud. "As long as you transfer $3 million to my personal account, I can privately sign the authorization for core patent usage." Dead silence in the room. Serena's entire body stiffened. "You exceeded your authority and sold the company's core assets," I continued. "And the board knew nothing about this." Serena opened her mouth but couldn't speak. "This is just the beginning." I switched to another page. Bank statements appeared on the screen. "These are the accounts of affiliated companies under your name. In 3 years, you transferred $15.8 million in company funds through false transactions." Another page. "These are records of kickbacks you received from suppliers, totaling $3.27 million." Another page. "These are details of your inflated travel expenses. 3-year total of $820,000. With each page switch, Serena's face grew paler. "And these," I continued switching, "commercial defamation, leaking trade secrets, financial fraud, interest transfers." The entire conference room was silent as death. Everyone stared at the screen, then at Serena. "These are all fake." Serena suddenly exploded. "You forged evidence to frame me." "Forged?" I picked up another document. "This is an audit report issued by Deloitte accounting firm. 200 pages, detailing all your violations." "Are you saying Deloitte is also framing you?" Serena couldn't speak. "There's more." Lawyer Sue pulled out a stack of documents. "These are all evidence obtained through legal company channels. Bank statements, original contracts, email records, chat screenshots, call recordings. Each one can be used as courtroom evidence." Serena collapsed into her chair. Beatrice covered her mouth, tears streaming down. "Serena, did you really do all this?" Serena looked at her mother, then at me, suddenly laughed. That smile contained despair, madness, unwillingness. "Marcus," she said, "what do you think this will accomplish? I'm your wife. Would you dare sue your own wife?" "I won't," I said, "but the company will." Lawyer Sue stepped forward. "Ms. Serena, as Home to Group's legal representative, I formally notify you that the company has filed a report with the police regarding your suspected embezzlement, commercial bribery, and infringement of trade secrets. It's expected that this afternoon, the police will formally open an investigation." Serena's face instantly turned deathly pale. Furthermore, I walked up to her. As the company's absolute controlling shareholder and actual controller, I exercise my shareholder rights to formally terminate all your positions at Home to Group. I looked into her eyes, using the same mocking tone she used at the celebration banquet, saying word by word, "Serena, you're fired." Silence. Deathly silence. Serena's whole body was shaking. She pointed at me. You dare." "Why wouldn't I dare?" I said. "Didn't you say I married you for your family's money? Now I'll tell you the truth. From beginning to end, you've been living off me. That worthless house husband you spoke of controls the lifeblood of this company. The career you're so proud of, the platform where you frantically embezzled money. It's all mine. You." Tears streamed down her face. "You played me? You played me for 3 years." "Not playing you," I said. "Testing you. Your father's greatest wish before he died was hoping you could become an upright person. He entrusted the shares to me, had me observe you, give you a chance. If you could achieve success properly and honestly, this company would be returned to you. But if you went astray, I would take everything back." I paused. 3 years. I gave you 3 years of chances. But you disappointed him. You disappointed me." Serena slumped back into her chair, as if her soul had been sucked out. "Marcus," she murmured, "I don't believe it. I don't believe you'd be this ruthless." "Ruthless," I said. "Last night at the celebration banquet, you humiliated me in front of everyone. saying my greatest achievement in life is folding clothes, saying I married you for money. Why didn't you talk about ruthlessness then? She couldn't speak. And I continued, these 3 years, you treated me like a servant again and again, trampled on my dignity again and again. Did you think about ruthlessness then? She began crying. I was wrong. I was really wrong. Marcus, we can start over. I'll never treat you like that again. Too late, I said. You should have understood earlier. Never underestimate the seemingly ordinary person beside you, because you don't know how much power they truly have. I turned to address everyone. From today, I will formally take over Home to Group. Uncle Lawrence will serve as president. Ms. Beatrice, if you're willing, you may continue as a director, but no longer as chairman. Beatrice nodded, tears falling patter-patter. Also, I said, the company will fully cooperate with the police investigation. All involved personnel will be thoroughly investigated without mercy. Serena completely broke down, collapsing on the table sobbing. I didn't look at her again, picked up my briefcase and walked toward the door. Marcus! She suddenly rushed over, grabbing my arm. Please don't do this. We're husband and wife. Give me one chance. I pulled my hand away. I gave you chances. 3 whole years. You didn't cherish them. I'll change. I really will change. She cried heart-wrenchingly. Too late. I looked at her. Also, Lawyer Sue has already prepared divorce proceedings for me. You'll receive the summons. She froze, then cried even louder. No, don't. Marcus. I walked out of the conference room. Behind me came her crying and Beatrice's sighs. Uncle Lawrence caught up. Are you okay? Very good, I said. Never been better. What now? Everything that needed to be done is done, I said. The rest is up to the law and time. I entered the elevator and pressed the first floor. The moment the elevator doors closed, I saw myself in the mirror. 3 years of pretense finally removed. That afternoon, the news exploded. Home to Group rocked by major personnel earthquake. Sales champion Serena suspected of multiple economic crimes and dismissed. Mysterious major shareholder emerges. Turns out to be Serena's stay-at-home husband. Corporate drama. Heir hidden for 3 years brings down greedy wife in one move. My phone was bombarded. Calls from Serena, from Beatrice, from various relatives and friends. I didn't answer any of them. Just stayed home, quietly watching the news ferment. In the evening, Uncle Lawrence came to find me. The company's stock price not only didn't fall, it rose 8%, he said. Investors say they're more confident in the company now. Good. Also, Wilton agreed to terminate the previous supplementary agreement and sign a new compliant contract. Our technology patents are safe. That's good. Marcus? Uncle Lawrence suddenly said, do you regret it? Regret what? Spending 3 years doing this. I thought about it. No regrets. I promised the old master I'd give her a chance. I did. As for what path she chose, that's her business. Do you hate her? Not hate, I said. Perhaps a bit of pity. Pity? Yes, I said. She could have had all of this. As long as she was willing to be an upright person, this company would be hers. The 56% shares, I would have returned them to her intact. But she chose another path. Uncle Lawrence was silent for a while. That's human nature. It is, I said. 3 days later, the police formally filed a case. A week later, Serena was placed under criminal coercive measures. 2 weeks later, the prosecutor's office approved the arrest. A month later, the court held a hearing. I didn't attend. Only on the day the verdict came down, Lawyer Sue called me. First instance verdict. Multiple charges. Combined punishment, 12 years imprisonment, she said. Her lawyer says they'll appeal, but the chance of reversal is slim. I see, I said. Also, the divorce verdict came down too, Lawyer Sue said. Your request to leave with nothing wasn't supported by the court. Given Serena's criminal facts, the court ruled that she leaves with nothing and must compensate the company for losses. Good. Hanging up, I stood before the office's floor-to-ceiling windows, looking at the city's night view. 3 months now. 3 months from that shareholders' meeting to now. The company was back on track. Uncle Lawrence became president, managing effectively. Business thriving. Employee morale high. Everything was getting better. The phone rang, an unknown number. I answered. Marcus. It was Serena's voice. How do you have a phone? My lawyer helped me call, she said. I wanted to say a few words to you. Go ahead. Marcus, you won, she said. You won completely. I lost everything. I said nothing. But I want to ask you, she said. These 3 years, did you have no feelings at all? Was it all just acting from beginning to end? I was silent for a few seconds. Not all acting, I said. But when you trampled my dignity again and again, treated me like garbage again and again, whatever feelings there were, they disappeared, she cried. If I could do it over. There are no do-overs, I interrupted her. Serena, remember this. I didn't destroy you. You destroyed yourself. I hung up, never answered her calls again. Half a year later, the second trial upheld the original verdict. Serena officially went to prison, and I continued managing Home to Group, turning it into what the old master hoped for. One day, I went to the old master's grave, presented a bouquet of flowers, poured a cup of wine. Old master, I did it, I said. I gave her a chance, but she didn't cherish it. Now the company is in my hands. I'll manage it well and won't let you down. The wind blew past. In the photo on the tombstone, the old master still had that kind smile, as if saying, good, you did well. I stood up and turned to leave. Walking out of the cemetery, the sunshine was beautiful. A new life begins today. As for Serena, her story is over. And my story has just begun. This is a stay-at-home husband's revenge. Not earth-shattering, but thoroughly satisfying. Because true revenge isn't about violence. It's about making you lose everything at your most glorious moment. Making you understand that everything you're so proud of was given by someone else, and can also be taken back by them. This is my story.
That's the end of today's story. For more captivating tales, hit subscribe and never miss an episode.